ready for true happiness, for deep fulfillment, for feeling alive, on purpose, and in control of your life again? It's time to be the bold, brilliant, beautiful woman you were born to be. Welcome to the PurposeGirl Podcast. I'm women's happiness and life purpose expert Karen Rockkind, and I'm going to teach you how to live on purpose, feel alive, and be happy in every aspect of life. I'm going to get real about my life and interview women who are living on purpose so that you can finally live yours. Welcome to the show.
Hello, my purpose girls. I am so excited to be with you today because we are in a time of massive change. And if ever there was a time for a purpose girl, for a woman who has decided that she is a goddess on purpose, this is it. Right. So if you listen to my podcast, I assume it's because you have been feeling stuck, or you want motivation, or you want purpose, or you feel like you have purpose, or you are wanting that cheerleading and that turnaround, and you're wanting to be part of the change. And now is when we need you more than ever. So listen up, goddess, you are needed. Okay. If you have ever doubted in your mind, what do I have to say? No one wants to hear from me. No, that idea is stupid. Oh, I can't do that. Listen up. The world is in chaos. We are in a time of massive change, and you are needed now. And today on the Purpose Girl Podcast, I'm going to go through a few simple steps to motivate you forward. These are steps I just did in the Rise to Purpose Challenge over on my Facebook group, which if you are not a part of, what are you waiting for, girlfriend? Get on over to the Purpose Girls Facebook group, because I do free challenges in there. I do journal prompts in there. It is a place where you can post, hey, I want to start a website. Anyone know a designer? Or, hey, I'm scared. Can I get some encouragement? Or, hey, I brag. I just started my purpose work. Whatever it is, it's awesome. You come on over there. I just did the 4-day Rise to Purpose Challenge. And oh my goddess, by the end of just 4 days of me doing half-hour video coaching, right, en masse to the group, women took massive leaps and bounds toward their dreams. And so today we are talking about those steps. And it is so important because we are in a time where every woman is needed. Every woman is needed. And you need this. You need this for your own fulfillment. You need it for your own joy. You need it to know that you've lived life the way that you want to live it, that you can complete your life, whenever it is, 90 years, 100 years, 80 years, knowing that you did it. And we're needed now. If ever there was a time when the world was in crisis and needed feminine leadership, it is now. I really try to not get political on this podcast, but I've also realized that that is holding me back. I don't want to alienate any of you. And right now, our rights are being threatened. Women's rights to our bodies are being threatened. And so we are each needed now. My transgender friends' rights are being questioned, are being threatened, and they deserve to live the same quality of life as anyone else. LGBTQ folks, myself included, if I ever marry somebody else or want to marry somebody else, maybe I won't be allowed. Those rights are being threatened. Our education system is a mess and not equal for every single child. And of course, a lot of this I'm talking about the United States, except I believe that this is happening everywhere. And right now, Purpose Girls, if your thing is the elderly, if your thing is kids, if your thing is women, if your thing is yourself, whatever it is, we each are needed to stand up in this moment. And so if any of this describes you, where you've been holding yourself back for any reason, then this episode is for you. Now, before I begin, I want to share some good news. Good news, the next class for my Goddess on Purpose course is open. It is officially open. Okay, this is my 8-week course where you get me coaching and cheerleading and supporting and motivating and teaching you for 8 weeks these specific steps for you to discover and go live your purpose. Okay, this program is proven successful. Women love it. Throughout 8 weeks, you're going to get super clear on your inspiration, your wisdom that you have to share. You're going to turn any of your pain around so it no longer hinders you, but it becomes the launch pad for your purpose. You are going to be so in your joy. You're going to have me in your ear every single day during this transformational, crazy, important, powerful time. And the course is now open. So you want to go to purposegirl.com/goddess on purpose and sign up now. If you've been stuck and you don't know your purpose and you are committed to it right now, or you know your purpose, but you have not been able to do it, get your butt in that course with me now. There has never been a more important time. Head on over to my website, sign up this moment. Now, of course, before I begin, I need to read my review of the week. This is coming to me from Eva. She says, I love Karen's emphasis on empowering women to let go, all caps, of perfectionism and live a purpose-driven life. I'm finally starting to do that this year, and it's changing everything. The conversations Karen's hosting about discovering purpose and taking charge of your mindset are so important. Another thing I'm working on. I just discovered this podcast, and I'm queuing up episodes for the archive. Yes. Eva, welcome to the Purpose Girl family. Welcome to our sisterhood. I can't wait to see you over in the Facebook group. And if you are not, and all of you are not yet getting my emails, you want to make sure that you do, because that is the first place that I let people know about courses I'm doing, contests I'm doing, free giveaways I'm doing, plus weekly tips and tools for you to be your most alive, most vibrant, happiest, most purposeful self. Now let's talk about the steps to purpose. So I know many of you have heard my story, but I want to just quickly remind you all that years ago, I was in a corporate job that was good. It paid me well. There were parts of it that I loved. There were people I worked with that I loved, but there was still a kind of gnawing hole inside of me that just kept talking to me and saying, there's something else. Something's not right here. I want more. And I would keep pushing that voice down. No, this is ridiculous. No, those ideas are stupid. No, right? And I was not doing anything about it. I was going relationship to relationship seeking, like, will you, man, be the one who fulfills me and I won't have to have purpose anymore? Will this relationship finally make me happy? Will this, right? It was like I was seeking everything externally. It is just a few years later that I now have a multi-six-figure business, empowering women all over the world. I have clients all over the world, from Bali to Germany to Canada and the US and everywhere in Mexico and everywhere in between, that I now get to being on big stages all over the world, to taking women on retreats all over the world. Like, it is a dream. And I share this because I'm not any different than you. Okay? Let's be super clear about this. I have the same negative tape that runs in my head about why I could not, should not be doing this, about why I might fail, about what is wrong with me, about not being enough. Just yesterday on the sacred Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, I was starting to feel really sorry for myself and how I'm not enough. Okay, so I have the same tapes that you do. No one handed me a whole bunch of money to go and start my own business. There's nothing special and different about me, except that I believe that we all can do this. I believe that I can do this, and I believe that you can do it. If there's anything that makes me special, it is that I just decided that I would not die without ever at least giving it my 150% try. That's it. Now, that is no different than what you could do right now. I just decided. Now, here's the thing. I've mentioned in the past, I mentioned in the last episode, and of course in the first episode, I literally had a gun to my head. I mean, I had been robbed at gunpoint, and that was my moment of, holy shit, I'm going to die without ever pursuing my dreams. And I don't want that to happen to you. And so let's do this. Let's have you decide without that moment. Except perhaps this is the moment. This moment where COVID-19 has taken so many lives and has made so many people sick is like having a gun to your head. This moment where so many people are losing their jobs, this moment where racial injustice is so prevalent And culturally, so many of our little brown and Black sisters and brothers have been taught, are being taught that they are not as worthy. This is like having a gun to our head. This moment where women might lose their rights, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people might lose their rights. Like, let's consider this that moment. And I think this is why in the Rise to Purpose Challenge, so many women participated and were like, I have to do this. If not now, when? Because this is the moment. And so listen, so I decided, which is something that you can do. You can do right now. You can do right now. You can say, I am deciding that I'm living my purpose. I'm deciding that I'm going to figure it out. I just decide. Now, I know your brain might be like, yeah, right, you've decided before. Oh, you're not going to do it. Like, your brain might go off. My brain goes off too. We're going to get to that in the steps. But the first thing is that you must decide. Let's talk about why a decision is so important. Because our minds drive us crazy, right? Our minds tell us all the reasons we can't do something. Heck, people externally. How many of you have people in your lives who are like, you can't write a book? You want to start your own daycare? No, that's ridiculous. Or who are you to bake? You don't have your cooking degree. I mean, whatever it is, like, we have enough people outside. Or one of my clients who came to me, she was working in the hospitality industry. She was a general manager or director. I mean, something very high up, making good bank, good money. But her heart was aching for something else, aching to work in the beauty industry. And she had loved ones who were like, you're going to do what? You have this great high-paying job and you want to work in beauty? Like, almost as if saying, that is so frivolous, you're crazy. As we did the work, she needed to decide, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Now, what happened once she decided? Once she decided she was going for it, she posted on Instagram every single day, sometimes twice a day, even when she had no followers, even when nobody was there. And now brands send her things to wear, to rep. Now she gets offers to participate and collaborate all the time by just every day, just choosing, deciding. Another one of my clients decided she was going to do her dream of real estate. She just decided. Now, she had no experience in real estate. She had no family experience in real estate. She didn't even know why real estate. She had a million other talents, but she was interested in it and interested in it and interested in it. So it was finally like, well, let's just explore this. So she decided. What does it mean? It means that she said, all right, let me find a class where I can learn. It was 1 day a week, 1 hour a week. Now, did she have other things to do with her time? Of course she did. But she decided, I'm setting aside that 1 hour. It means that when an opportunity came up, she's driving through the neighborhood, she sees that there is a house that, could use some fix up, but was for sale. She called the real estate agent. She walked in. She started envisioning. She decided. It means that she didn't know anything about lawyers or what she needed to do bank-wise or legally. And so she found a couple of people who had already done it. She went and she asked her dad, hey, you built a business. How do I do this? That's not easy for her to do or for a lot of people to do, but she just decided. It also means that when she was taking the class, all of the other things that kept going through her mind, you don't know anything about this, right? The negative self-talk, or even some of the distractions like, oh, it'd be more fun to just bump around on Instagram right now. She decided, no, I'm going to do this right now. So there is this moment of decision. And what I know for sure is that the women who become goddesses on purpose, who are purpose girls and they're doing it, they make a decision. And that decision is, I'm going to go for it no matter what. So I want to ask you right now, what is your decision? What is your decision? Now, here's why this is important. It's important because what we know about the brain is that the brain works for you. Your brain is always working for you. Now, I know with all the negative self-talk, it might seem like your brain is actually working against you, except what your brain thinks about the most is what you do. Okay, your brain is actually just taking orders. And so if your mind consistently says, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, then what happens is that your brain starts to find things in the environment that actually make it happen. It's called confirmation bias. But if your brain is constantly thinking, I can't do it, it's impossible because, that's too lofty. No, I want all of that. Then confirmation bias, your brain is going to find all the reasons and create all the reasons why you can't do it. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, okay? I would never tell you that this is like easy to get your mindset in control. I would never tell you that this is easy to just decide. But making the decision is easy. Making the decision is easy. And so I want you right now to say, I am deciding. And what are you deciding? I'm deciding that I'm going to figure out my purpose. If you are sitting there like I was years ago, knowing I'm here for something, but I don't know what it is, then decide that you're going to get clarity. That's it. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I've had this idea, but I'm not doing it, just decide, I'm doing it. That's it. I'm doing it. Okay, so step number 1 is that decision. And the decision is important because of how your brain works. Because as long as you decide something, as long as you tell your brain, this is what we're doing, then you will take action toward it every single day. Let's be clear about this. Every thought that you have leads to a feeling, and every feeling you have leads to a behavior. This is just kind of simple psychology. And so when you have the thought, I'm doing this, then you lead to behaviors that are in that way. But if you have the thought, I can't do this, then how do you feel? You feel like crap. You sit back. You don't do it, right? Then you find other reasons, other excuses, and then you proved yourself. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy, what we call in psychology a self-fulfilling prophecy. See, I knew I couldn't do it. And so this is why we start with, I decide. Now, let's get to step number 2. This is pretty simple. Step number 2 is thinking about what are all the things that are in your way. And you don't have to really think about it because you already probably think about it all the time. So let's just get all the kind of blocks and all the things that are in your head on the table. Yep, grab a piece of paper, or if you're driving, then maybe you can voice record this into your phone. Get all of the things that are holding you back in the way. Like, let's just be honest, okay? Maybe you say, well, I won't be successful because people don't like me. I won't be successful because it's too hard. Or if I am successful, then my friends will no longer like me. Or if I pursue my purpose, I'll run out of money. Or if I pursue my purpose, then people will think I'm stupid. Like, what are the things? What are the things? Like, your brain already thinks them. So just get them out. Just get them out. And sometimes I have to get them out on paper, every other day because my brain still wants to tell me all those things. Let me brag for a second. Turns out that the PurposeGirl Podcast is in the top 0.5% of all podcasts because of how many listeners and reviews we have, which is awesome. Yay. I'm totally celebrating me. Do you think that stops my brain from thinking nobody wants to listen to me? No, my brain still has that story because of 5th grade and 10th grade and other things that happened, right? So we have these things. So we go ahead, get the blocks out. Or do you think, well, I don't have time, between my kids and homeschooling now or my full-time job and, what? Let's just get it out. Get it out. And maybe you have some what ifs. But what if I fail? What if people reject me? What if all the time? I will tell you, I actually what ifed not having a baby. I swear this is part of why my body was not working for me. I thought, what if I mess him up? What if I totally mess him up? What if I do a terrible job parenting? What if my kid hates me? What if I don't like him or her? What if? I totally made myself crazy with what ifs. And I'm sure that started to have a big impact on my reproductive system because of how our brain impacts our body. In fact, when you're in stress, fight, flight mode, do you know all of the parts of your body that shut down? When you are in this, I can't, what if this fails? What if that fails? What happens is that your brain puts your body into primal fight, flight, stress mode, thinking that it's under attack. Do you know that about 99% of your brain is the same as our early ancestors from thousands of years ago when they were in basic survival mode? Our brains are basically the same thing. And so it is very easy to go into that fight-flight mode. But when that happens, your creativity is shut down, your higher level thinking, your ability to think rationally, your reproductive system is shut down, your hormone system is shut down, your digestive system, which is why when we're so stressed, our belly aches. We have so much that is impacted by our minds. And I'm not perfect at this by any means. It's just something that I practice over and over and over again, and why I constantly have a coach. I constantly have a coach. Sometimes different coaches for different things, but my coach writes my mind, right? She notices when I am getting in my own way because I'm continuously telling myself a story or I'm holding myself back in some way. That's why I have a coach. That's why I coach other people. That's why I want to coach you. That's why I want you in the Goddess on Purpose program, so that I can help you overcome any of this. So go ahead, get it out. What are the things that are getting in your way, right? Step one was you decide. Step two is we are going to dissent, right? In the spirit of RBG, we are going to dissent, say no, thank you to any of these quote unquote obstacles in the way. Because all we need to do with any of that mind chatter is flip it. All you have to do with any of that mind chatter is flip it, right? If I take my, well, what if I mess my child up? I can flip it in two ways. I could say instead, well, what if I support my child to be the most beautiful, brilliant version of him or herself possible? Right? So I can flip it from a what if negative into a what if positive. How come we don't do that? Why do we what if negative all over ourselves, not what if positive? Well, what if I fail and I look stupid? Well, what if you succeed and you look amazing, right? So we can what if that way. We can flip it. The other way we can flip it is answer your own question. Answer your own question. What if you fail? Then you'll figure it out. You'll find another job. This was a key moment for me in living my purpose. When I talk about I'm not special, this was a key moment for me, okay? If I fail, I knew I would go ahead and I would make coffee at a restaurant. I could wait tables. I could probably get a marketing job like I had. If I fail, I'll figure it out. I'll be okay. Do you know how much relief comes with that? Say that to yourself. If I fail, I'll be okay. If I fail, I'll figure it out. Try it with rejected. If I get rejected, I'll dust myself off and I'll walk again. If I get rejected, you know what? I've been rejected before. I know I can live through it. If I get rejected, I'll find someone who likes me. Like whatever your what if is, then just know you'll figure it out. I was listening to a dear friend of mine on her Facebook Live say, you know, with parenting, if you're like, oh, but what if they get sick? If your child gets sick, you'll figure out the right doctor to go see. We always figure it out. That's what we do, ladies. So go ahead and flip it. Go ahead and flip it right now. So when I did the Rise to Purpose Challenge, when I asked what is getting in your way, what women said came down to three things. Fear of what other people think, fear of rejection, fear of any of the things we just talked about. Self-doubt. I won't be able to do it because I'm not good enough because. Or lack of knowing. Right? I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. Now, here's what I want you to say, and this is in the spirit of RBG. I dissent. I want everyone to scream out loud right now, I dissent. Okay, something that I love about RBG, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, may you rest in peace, when she dissented against what was, quote unquote, the popular opinion of the Supreme Court of the United States of America, she says that she didn't always dissent because it was going to be the rule of law at that moment. She was setting the stage for the future based on what she believed could be a better future for America. And she said that when she dissented, eventually that is where the country went, right? Supporting gay marriage, supporting non-discrimination against different genders, supporting all of that. And so I want you to use the big words, I dissent. Now, this was so cool. In the Rise to Purpose Challenge, I had everyone scream out loud, I dissent. And so this was on Facebook Live, and everyone is typing into all caps, I dissent self-doubt. I dissent negative self-talk. I dissent what's holding me back. I dissent, right? It's like you are deciding by dissenting and saying, I am not going to let this hold me back. I dissent. And I want you to scream, if you're in the car right now, if you're cleaning the kitchen, you're sitting there taking notes, I want you to write in big letters, I dissent, which simply means that you are not going to let the negative self-talk or any of that hold you back any longer. So here's how we work as human beings. When you want a different outcome, you either have to change what you're doing or you have to change how you think about it. It's really that simple. So if you are like my client who was stuck around having a child, as an example, She felt like, I really do want a child, but what if, but what if, but what if? She either had to change, okay, I'm just going to have the child. I'm going to go for it in some way. Or I have to change how I think about it. I have to change all the things that I think might go wrong. And we worked on changing all the things that she thought might go wrong. We worked on it for a while until there was a moment she knew, I just have to change the behavior and say, okay, if I really want this, I'm going to go for it. And I'm thrilled to tell you that she now has 3 babies. She had her first and she sent me an email. Oh my God, I can't believe I ever held myself back from this. This is the best thing I've ever done. And I'm pregnant with twins again. So when you want something, you either have to change the behavior itself or how you think about it. As David Cooperrider, professor at Case Western Reserve University, says, if you want a different answer, you have to ask a different question. If you want a different answer, you have to ask a different question. So if you're sitting there like, well, what if I fail? Right? That's why we flip it. We say, well, what if I succeed? And then you might have negative things come up there. So you continue to ask different questions. This all comes down to you dissenting. I dissent. You flipping, choosing to change the thoughts in your head. Now, there is daily mindset work that you can do. I took a class with the amazing Julia Wells, who's going to be on the podcast soon, and she helped me with mindset questions that I can do every day. But if you're someone who has trouble sitting down and for 15 minutes writing in your journal mindset, let it be a moment by moment where you catch yourself in the moment saying, but I can't because, or but what if, and you flip it, you flip it, you flip it. Now, again, how do we flip? How do we dissent? You flip it by either going from what if negative to what if positive, or by answering your own what if negative question with, I'll figure it out. You also may have negative self-talk that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. We flip that too. How do we flip it? We flip it by coming up with all of the things that are so amazing and beautiful and wonderful about us. This is why in the Goddess on Purpose course, I spend a lot of time on you getting super clear on your superhero powers. When I say I'm not special, I'm not different than you in my ability to pursue my purpose. You have the same ability that I do. And I have the same ability as Oprah. No, my brain tells me I don't have the same ability as Oprah, but I need to remember she had very humble beginnings. And look at where she is now. The ability to change millions and millions and millions of lives and speak her voice. And if she can do it, I can do it too. Oprah herself had to know, what are her superhero powers? She has incredible compassion. She can feel empathy for every human story. She has incredible passion for well-being, for mental health, for purpose. She has an incredible talent of public speaking. So you have to know what your own superhero powers is. And we spend a lot of time on this in the Goddess on Purpose course. And so this is another way that we dissent that negative voice in our head, is we get clear on what our own superheroes are. We get clear on what our own superhero powers are. And in the course, I teach you several ways to do that so that you are able to brag and celebrate about what is special about you, right? So none of us are special in our ability to live our purpose. None of us are special in our ability or our capacity to become a Goddess on Purpose, Purpose Girl. But each of us is special in the way that we will do it. And when I got clear on what my talents are, my goddess-given talents, when I got clear on what my passions were, when I got clear on the wisdom that I have to share with the world, when I was able to turn my pain into purpose, that's what led me here talking to all of you. And that's what I teach in the Goddess on Purpose course. So what I want you to do in this moment, once you dissent the negative self-talk, then I want you to be able to say, I am worthy. I am a Goddess on Purpose because. I want you to say out loud, you feel free, you come on over to my Purpose Girls Facebook group and you share with us, you brag about what is awesome about you, okay? Or email me or go on Instagram and send me a message about what is awesome about you. I want to hear it. I want you to own it. Because listen, we all have things that we think are not awesome about us. I procrastinate. I'm the worst at email. Okay. If you email me, it might take me 100 years to get back to you until Josh and my assistant and everybody else is like, get back to this person, get back to this person. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. Now, I could spend all the time beating myself up for the things I'm not good at, or I could spend all the time celebrating all the things that I am good at. And then I could enlist help with the things I'm not good at, which is why Josh says to me, hey, get back to that person on email. Hey, get back to that person on email. That's why I tell my clients, if you don't hear from me, bump Josh. That's why I tell my clients, if you don't hear from me, text or email Josh, because you know what? We work together and we sleep in the same bed together. So he can be like, hey, email Beth. All right. So this is how we create the life. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect at everything. It means that instead of beating yourself up for what you're not perfect at, you celebrate what you are perfect at, and then you simply set up systems to help you be better at the things that you're not so great at. It's not that hard. We make it so much harder than it needs to be. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you are dissenting, what negative self-talk you're dissenting, and then I want to hear from you what makes you amazing, worthy, capable, beautiful, your super Shira powers. And if you don't know, then I want to see your gorgeous face in the Goddess on Purpose course. Okay. Like I said, go on over to the show notes or just go to purposegirl.com/goddess on purpose and sign up. Don't even think about it. Okay. Sign up. Make the decision that you are going to live your purpose. You're going to figure out what it is and you're going to get your butt going toward it right now. Don't even pause. Do it. I have an easy payment plan for you to be able to do it now. Number 3, you're going to set a fire under yourself. Yep, you're going to set a little fire under yourself. Now, how do we do that? How many of you, when you dissent, said, I would love to follow my purpose, but I don't know how. I would love to set up a home chef business, but I don't know how. I would love to write that course, but I don't know how. I don't know how, right? I know that I don't know how has gotten in my way a million freaking times. And so I like to think, well, what would our BG do? What would Oprah do? What would Amelia Earhart do? What would Harriet Tubman do? What would any of these amazing, brilliant, beautiful, strong women do? They would figure it out. They would learn. They would set the fire under themselves that says, I will plan, I will prepare. Now, something my dear friend and coach Christine Closer says is you wouldn't go climb Mount Everest without planning and preparing for it, right? You wouldn't think that you could just all of a sudden run a marathon without running 1 mile. We just wouldn't do that. That's just not how we do. So what would you do if you were climbing Mount Everest? First, you would probably start researching. You would probably get yourself a Sherpa, someone who's going to help you and teach you what to do, who's going to tell you what clothes you need, who's going to tell you what exercise you need to do to prepare, who's going to tell you what tent to get, who's going to walk with you every step of the way. So you would get a mentor. That's just what you would do if you were going to climb Mount Everest. What you would probably do is you would learn what are the steps that takes to get there. What do I need? And so why do we think that this is any different? Right? My dear friend Megan, another wonderful coach, she talks about ice skating. Would you expect yourself to just get on the ice and not fall down? No. How many of you hold yourself back from living your purpose because you think, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably just going to fall. Yeah, you probably are. Let's just be honest for a moment. Do you know how many times I have fallen? Do you know how many times I probably still will fall? Like a million. And I hope you're all there to pick me back up afterwards. That's why I build sisterhood. It's because I'm going to fall. I don't know what the heck I'm doing with a lot of new projects that I take on. I don't know what I'm doing with parenting. That's why I need all of you to remind me with my intuition or to give me tips or books. Please. If we go back even just 100 years ago, a couple hundred years ago, women did things in a village with each other, helping each other. God, I was saying to Josh the other day, you know why this is so hard? Right now during COVID, we don't have anyone else who is picking up our baby. We don't have anyone else who is taking care of him. And back in the day, we would have had a village of mom and grandma and aunties and friends who were helping and who were teaching us, here's how you get him to sleep. Here's how you support him in latching onto the breast. Here is my breast if your breast isn't working. This is all new to do this on our own. So you don't have to do it on your own. But you do have to choose that you are going to plan and prepare and learn. And you can do that. You've done it a million times in your life. There are steps to being that purpose girl, to being the one who starts the blog on climate change, to being the person who is coaching women to be badasses. There are steps. Here are the steps. I want you to have that amazing vision of your legacy. That was the last episode. Go listen to it. I want you to have that decision that we're talking about today. I want you to know where inspiration comes to you from and what is inspiring about you. I want you to know you're superhero genius. It is a step to be in total joy and pleasure, that this is not going to be hard. The more you think it's hard, the harder it's going to be. It is a step for you to flip your pain into purpose. It is a step for you to know what your message and your voice are. It is a step for you to harness your courage. And it is a step to take action. Now, those are the steps, and those are each of the steps that I teach in the Goddess on Purpose course. And if you're like, Karen, stop talking to me about the course. No, I'm not going to, because I'm taking a stand for you getting off the dime. So if you are annoyed that I am talking about this course, absolutely not. I am a Goddess on Purpose, and I know that I have something that will help you. So why wouldn't I keep talking to you about it? I'm taking a stand for your highest and best self. I'm taking a stand for you to put your genius into the world. I'm taking a stand for you to do it now. And let me tell you, I think that these couple of months, especially if you're in the United States during this election, are going to be the time that we need the sisterhood, we need the mentorship, we need the rising to purpose more than ever. You can do these steps on your own. It takes longer, but you can do it. We all can do it. This is what it takes to set a fire under you. What would it look like? I want you to ask yourself your next question. What would it look like if you set a fire under you? What would it look like? And maybe you know and maybe you don't know. What would you be doing differently? So when I think about the women who inspire me, who are out there, like Glennon Doyle, she just came out with this amazing Instagram challenge program every single day where she is helping women get out to vote. And I'm like, whoa, she's putting her voice out. She's being so courageous. And when she talks about it as that she must do this. Like there was no other choice for her because she knows she must do something right now to be the change that she wants to see in the world. And so I want to ask you to say these two words, right? We've already said the words, I want you to scream out loud, I decide, right? I'm deciding, I'm making the decision right now. I want you to scream that out loud in your car or wherever you're listening to it. I've already asked you to say the words non-negotiable out loud. I asked you to scream out loud and say the words, I dissent, I dissent. And the next bit I want you to say is, I must, I must. Why must you pursue your purpose? I, Karen Leslie Rockine, must pursue this purpose of empowering every woman I talk to go live her purpose, because I truly believe that that is how the world is going to change. I truly believe that what has messed us up so much are thousands of years of unhealthy patriarchy. Unhealthy patriarchy where men wanted to hold women down, where the system was set up to keep us back, and therefore we are not giving our love and wisdom and genius. We beat ourselves up. We get guilty. We feel shameful. Screw all that. Women's love, women's passion, women's compassion, women's creativity, the feminine. And by the way, men have feminine too. It's those qualities and characteristics. The beautiful fire, the fire of collaboration instead of competition, the fire of belief and hope instead of fear. That's the feminine. And I believe that the world is going to change for the better, for equality for all, when we have more feminine voices in leadership. And that means you. Okay, so that is why I must live this purpose. I also now know I must live this purpose for my baby boy. Oh my goddess, I have a whole new level of purpose because of him. I want him to see mom as someone who goes for her dreams. I want him to see that it's possible. How can I tell him, baby boy, you can do anything if I sit back and I don't do the same? How can I tell him, baby boy, those voices in your head, they're wrong, or what other people say don't matter if I allow those voices to hold me back, or if I allow what other people say to hold me back? How can I tell him any of those things? I can't. And I want him to go for his dreams. I want him to feel fully alive. I want him to know that he can do anything. And I bet you want that for your kids too. So in the 4-day Rise to Purpose Challenge, I asked women why you must. And then I told them, make a video. Your challenge for today is to make a video of why you must. And one woman said, I must show my son a strong mama who goes for her dreams so he knows he can. Another woman said, I must show my daughters a strong, capable woman why you must. Why you must. Now, this one sounds a lot like the non-negotiable, right? But this gets down to your deeper why. And your deeper why is going to keep you on track. Now, the next part of this step is, what are you going to do? I want you to have 2 steps. This is what I said in the Rise to Purpose Challenge. What are 2 steps that you could take right now? 2 steps. That's it. That you could take right now. Because that planning, preparation, having support, that is part of it. Now, the last bit is you're going to take those steps. You're going to do imperfect action. It's not going to look perfect the first time you do a YouTube video. It's not going to look perfect the first time you reach out to a company for the job that you want. It's not going to sound perfect the first time that you make a flyer for your tutoring business. It's not going to be perfect. Oh my goddess, the first speech that I gave, I should give those people their money back. I read a lot of statistics. I talked a lot about the research and science, which is awesome. And I love incorporating that. But I was afraid. So I was doing a lot of reading. It just wasn't even me. But you know what? People came up to me afterwards and said, thank you so much. That was so helpful. Because even if it wasn't perfect or the best that I know, I could do with more practice, right? This is not about being perfect. This is about practice. It still gave them something. And so even if you're not perfect, which I don't expect you to be, think about the ice skating example, you're going to take imperfect action. Imperfect action. Now, what does that mean? It means small steps. You're going to call that mentor and ask, how did they do it? You're going to sign up for the Goddess on Purpose course. Yes, I'm saying it again. It's my podcast. I can say whatever I want because I really believe that this can help you. I know it can because I've seen it. In the Goddess on Purpose Challenge, one woman, her first small step was she'd been wanting to start a nonprofit forever. And so what did she do? She went and she bought her domain name. Boom. You're going to take a small step. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to celebrate the frick out of yourself. You're going to celebrate. You're going to be like, I'm so awesome. I took the small step. Right? Okay. So I've told you before how I ran a marathon. I literally went from 0 to 26 in 6 months. Okay. 0 miles to 26 miles in 6 months. It's a little crazy, but it's because I wasn't taking action on starting Purpose Girl like I wanted to. And a friend of mine told me that was how she learned discipline. So I ran 1 mile, huffed and puffed. The next day I ran 1 mile again. And 1 mile by 1 mile, I got to 26 miles. And then I haven't run in months and months being pregnant. And I had vasoprevia. I wasn't allowed to exercise. And so a few weeks ago, I got cleared to start exercising again. So I went out and I ran 1 mile. Now that 1 mile took me 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. Pushing the stroller, pushing baby. 20 minutes. It basically looked like walking. But when I was finished with that 1 mile, you would have thought that I was Rocky Balboa in the movie. Okay, I was like, I'm the best. I'm so awesome. Look at me. And Josh was clapping and cheering and like, you go, girl. Why do we celebrate our tiny, tiny steps? Because when we do, we tell our brain, do more of this. This is all about how your brain works. And you feel good about yourself. Now, what was the other choice? I could have been like, oh, it was just a mile. Oh, it took me 20 minutes. As I say that, my body is like deflating. And I feel like shit. And then do I want to go run a mile again? No. But if I say, oh my God, I'm so awesome. I'm so great. I did it. Then I'm like, I'm going to go do that again tomorrow because I'm so awesome. This step is simple. It's small, simple steps. And you can celebrate with a friend. You can celebrate with me. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook, send me a message, celebrate, take your small step and celebrate. But if you have trouble with this or any of it, again, I'm going to say it again, join Goddess on Purpose. I teach you in the class how to celebrate, and then it becomes a daily practice in our private Facebook group of you and the other women in the group celebrating each other's small steps. Why? Because it gets you to do it more. The number one thing I heard from the Rise to Purpose Challenge is women saying how having the other women inspire them, having the other women support them, help them rise. Nothing helps you rise like women supporting you. It is totally different than having a man support you. I don't know why. It's just we operate better when women are telling us how awesome we are, when women are telling us how beautiful we are, when women are telling us we can do it. It's got to go back to the millions of years ago how women spent more time with women because men were off to war or hunting. But this is how it works. So you're going to take the smallest step, whatever the equivalent of the 1 mile, 20-minute 1 mile is for you. And then you're going to celebrate it. And then you're going to hit repeat. Now, this is so important because there has never been a time when we are needed more. There's never been a time where women's voices are needed more to mother the world so that we all are mothers to the little brown and black babies who are not being treated the same. We all are needed to support the LGBTQ teens who are not treated the same. We all are needed to support every single bit of this earth and planet. We all are needed to support other women in telling other women how awesome they are and to go for it. We all are needed in changing corporate environment into one that is collaborative and loving and beautifully taking care of employees. We all are needed to light the fire under the whole world, not literally, but figuratively, to be a place of love. So we are needed. You are needed now. We all are needed now. And I know I can help with that. If you want my help, join the Goddess on Purpose class. Contact me about coaching. I am back from maternity leave. I'm easing into it. It's not full-time yet, but I'm easing into it. But you want to make sure that you are getting on my list to work with me because I will get you there. That's my commitment to you. It's my commitment to the world. So with that, my love, your purpose power tips, remember, you're going to say, I decide. You're going to say, it is non-negotiable. You're going to say, I dissent any self-doubt or any other negative talk that comes at me externally or internally. You're going to say, I must do this because, and know your why. You're going to lay out your steps. You're going to find who is the person who can help you. And you're going to take the first imperfect action step and you're going to celebrate it. And then you're going to hit repeat. And that is how you become the purpose girl that you were born to be, how you become and rise up as the goddess on purpose you were born to be. In fact, the last day of the challenge, everybody made a video, I am a goddess on purpose, and I did. And they celebrated that step and we celebrated them. So I want you to do that too. With that, my love, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Purpose Girl Podcast. Get your beautiful self into that Goddess on Purpose class happening this fall, 2020, at this time when you are needed the most and you need you the most. You need you the most to rise right now. Get yourself in that class. I will love all over you. For 8 weeks, you will have my personal coaching and voice in your ear for 8 weeks. Can you imagine how you will rise with that? And make sure you're on my newsletter list because that's how I send out all of the tips and tricks and announcements and discounts and all that kind of good stuff. And if you're not following me on Instagram, do it. Send me a message there. I reply to all messages personally. And the most important thing you can do is to share the Purpose Girl Podcast with every woman you know. That's how we are changing women's lives around the world, one woman at a time. With that, my love, may you live purposefully, may you love yourself, and may you love life. Bye for now.